we haven't had enough competition at this time of the year to really make the evaluations the way we'd like to, and we'd like to have all those game snaps and all. And we've told you a million times that you got to wait until you see guys in games. Well, that we weren't afforded that in the evaluation process. So that's the only setback. But other than that, it's been a really solid camp.
And now we get to focus on the regular season as we welcome you to Seahawks Saturday Night alongside former Seahawks linebacker Dave Wyman. I'm Aaron Levine. The Seahawks roster is now down to 53 players. And Dave, for the first time in a while, not a single undrafted rookie free agent made the team.
Yeah, and that's going to be tough. Everybody's going through that same thing. No preseason games, and you really can't get a look at other players. And for that reason, I think there's going to be very minimal signings off of other people's cut lists. But I'm starting to think this is going to be a good thing, not playing the preseason, because nobody's going to see this coming. What I've seen out at practice, this is a really different team, really fast on defense, and we'll get into the position groups, but they've looked as good as I've seen them. This is like a 2013 type of defense we're seeing out on the field.
Fingers crossed that that is the case this season. Many of the players who were cut could end up on the practice squad, which will have 16 players this season because of the COVID-19 uncertainty. And look no further than Jacob Hollister as a guy who spent a time on practice squad before having a big impact last season. Here are some of the notable cuts, including Shaquill Griffin and Paul Richardson, quarterbacks Anthony Gordon and Danny Etling, Cedric Lattimore, Aaron Fuller, and veteran Nick Bellore, who was a key factor on special teams. But let's talk about the offensive line. 3 new starters this year. How do we feel about the group? They kept both Ethan Posick and B.J. Finney, so either one of them could be your starter.
Right, and I think any team that doesn't have the same 5 guys back is going to feel like, hey, we didn't really get a look. It's going to be, that's probably the biggest mystery on this team, because with offensive line, I'll say the good thing is they have veterans. They have a lot of seasoned veterans, except for Damian Lewis, who looks like he might be the starter. But for the most part, those guys are veterans that have done it before. So, but it's just a matter of whether or not, and not until you get into a game, and get the run block fits down and pass blocking and everything, not until you get into a full speed game are you really going to be able to tell what these guys are about.
The Seahawks keeping 10 offensive linemen. I'd say the first 5 names there could be the projected starters. Yeah. But you have some really good depth with Haynes, Simmons, Jones, and Ogbuehi. Looks really good there. And then Kyle Fuller, of course, out for the first couple of games.
Right.
How about the defensive line? Aside from Poona Ford and Jaron Reed, do they have enough big guys to fill up the interior of the D-line? And how do we feel about the pass rush?
Well, I think the pass rush is just going to get better because of the pass defense this year. But, there's been some guys that have been really surprising out there. Alton Robinson. Haven't got a chance to see Darrell Taylor yet because of, he's probably going to be on the non-football injury list. But it just looks a lot better. I mean, look at Mayowa, Bruce Irvin. It's definitely an upgrade. And I've said this, they had nobody like Bruce Irvin as a pass rusher last year.
Well, the guys going 8 guys on the defensive line. You mentioned Darrell Taylor starting the year on the NFI list. But that also does not include Bruce Irvin, who will be spending a lot of time rushing the passer as well. And when it comes to receivers, a lot of people thought it might come down to a decision between John Ursua and Freddie Swain. Instead, the Seahawks go with both of them. What do you think about that and this receivers group?
Well, I think Freddie Swain probably the biggest surprise there, because, we've seen a little bit of Ursua last year. There's a lot of talk about John Ursua that he should have maybe gotten more reps, and he did get a couple of chances. But, he's really developed well. And all that matters is Russell Wilson is happy, right? I mean, he was talking in the offseason about getting more targets. I think he's got those. And then when you couple him with the tight ends, who we'll get to, I mean, look, those are, I think the number 3 pass pass catcher this year is going to be a tight end. But that's a good group, and just really so valuable having guys like Tyler Lockett and DK Metcalf, such good teammates.
Again, a ton of speed with the receiving group, from Lockett to DK Metcalf, Philip Dorsett, David Moore, Ursua, and Swain on that list. And then no real surprises when it comes to running backs, but the one player everyone has been impressed with as a rookie is DJ Dallas. Again, Dallas, one of 4 healthy rookie draft picks on the final roster.
You see him wearing number 31. He actually called Cam Chancellor to see if he was cool with him wearing number 31. So great kid. But yeah, he's NFL ready. And I watched that coming out of Miami. He was a really good pass blocker. He's a great pass catcher. Started off as a receiver. So, but that's another they're really stacked there. And you got Penny kind of in waiting, but Chris Carson's been healthy. Really been impressed and surprised by Carlos Hyde. I just thought he was maybe just an insurance policy, but he looks like he's still got it. I mean, he's making great cuts, and we saw in the mock game him pick up a bunch of yards, made that offensive line look really good, and so that's a really competitive group right there. And at the end of the year, you would have liked to have had a couple of these guys, and so they just were decimated by injury. So I don't think that's going to happen this year.
And you see Rashad Penny there, still on PUP as he recovers from off-season surgery. What do you think about this entire group as a whole?
This is, like I said, I mean, I'm really more excited to see the offense than the defense, because the defense, being an old defensive guy, that's what I'm watching out there. But it's just so different defensively. But offensively, seeing DK Metcalf, him taking that jump, watching what the tight ends can do. I'm really excited about two guys that got hurt last year. And Will Dissly is one and Chris Carson is the other. And I think, Carson only missed 2 games, but Dissly has missed a lot. And I think he's a really good tight end. But if it doesn't work out for him health-wise, you still have Luke Wilson, Jacob Hollister, who became one of Russell's favorite targets. And then you got Greg Olson, the veteran, who's really helped out this group, the receivers as well, just talking to him about how to play, how he runs his routes. So that's a really good group this year.
You mentioned Will Dissly. He is one player who did not miss a single minute of rehab and is now healthy to start this season. Up next, we're going one-on-one with the former Husky on his recovery and expectations for this upcoming season. Plus,
they know. Push him. He out in the pocket. You can throw that nigga out of bounds. He scream out that pocket. I'm pushing him out of bounds. Y'all crazy. He ain't getting this ball today. I see you, man. I see you, man. I'm glad he's on our team. He's on our team.
cornerback Shaquill Griffin is mic'd up. We'll take you on the field with the 4th-year player. That's coming up.
Lockett in motion left to right. Now he goes back to the left. Carson in the backfield. Russell, look out off the near side corner. Throw to the end zone. It's caught. Touchdown, Seahawks. Will Dissly for the 2nd time today.
How about 6 touchdowns in 10 total games for Will Dissly over the past 2 seasons? He and Greg Olson lead a group of tight ends. It also includes Jacob Hollister and Luke Wilson. Colby Parkinson starting the year on NFI. And we're now joined by Seahawks tight end Will Dissly. Will, now that a much different kind of training camp is over, how would you assess the last month?
I think it went as well as it could, man. With the COVID protocols, things were definitely different. Virtual meetings. We rolled through it. We were smooth. The coach did a great job. The hats off to the new guys for, sticking with it and learning the best they could. And but once we got out on the practice field, it was just football again, back to doing what we love.
For you personally, what kind of accomplishment is it to be here, ready to go for week 1 after rehabbing from another really horrible injury?
Just another small victory. I think anytime you go through a long rehab, you have to celebrate those. And, going through this is my 3rd camp here and getting through it, and especially coming off a couple injuries, it feels good. I feel confident, and, I'm ready to attack week 1 and get this season underway.
You had mentioned the support of your teammates, which was a little bit more different through this rehab than the first rehab. In what ways was it different?
I think just the relationships are stronger. I've been here for a little longer now, and this business is so unique in the fact that there's so much, changeover, and there's new guys every year. But when I went down the 2nd time with my Achilles, guys really picked me up. I think they saw my head was low when I was, around the room, and they wouldn't allow that, man. They know who I was, and they encouraged me to stay true and stay positive. And, there was just no way I wasn't going to let those guys down, and fought really hard to get back again.
Really great to hear. We also had Greg Olson mic'd up last week, and we saw him working with you. What have you learned from Greg so far?
Yeah, Greg's unbelievable. I think just his knowledge of the game, he's played for so long, he's seen so much that, I can't wait to learn more when the season comes around. But just in fall camp, it was the detail-oriented stuff that he knows, and the way he views the offense. It was really fun to actually watch him learn the offense and see the questions that he asked that, I might know this certain play, but I don't actually know why we're doing it. And Greg does a really good job with the why. And so, hopefully I can carry that, further into my career.
We haven't seen too much, no preseason games this year, so you can be our eyes and ears. What have you seen from the defense, and how much improvement can we expect on that side of the ball this year?
Yeah, I think the Seahawks fans should be excited about what we have on that side of the ball. We've reloaded with some really good core guys and picked up some new guys, as you guys all know. And, they're Seahawks football. They're flying around. They're smashing people. And I can't wait to see them hit someone else for a change.
So I need an honest opinion here. If I had come to you a few years ago when you were a defensive lineman at Washington and said, Will, we're going to make you into a tight end. You're going to be drafted by the Seahawks. You will catch 6 touchdowns in your first 2 years, but you will also have to come back from a major knee injury the first year and a ruptured Achilles the second year. Would you still say, okay, let's do it?
That's a good question. Sign me up, I guess.
Really?
Life is fun. It's going to throw curveballs at you, but it's just how you respond to those things. So if you told me that was going to be my story, if that's the way God written it, then, I'd go with it, and that's his plan. So who knows what the future has, but we're going to make the best of today, and that's all we can do. Love that outlook. Well, Seahawks tight end Will Dissly, thanks so much for joining us, and best of luck to you this season. I appreciate it. Go Hawks. Up next, we're heading back on the field. It's Shaquill Griffin mic'd up, coming up on Seahawks Saturday Night. It was arguably the biggest move of the offseason, the Seahawks trading for Jamal Adams, and now the playmaking ability on the Seahawks secondary gets a huge boost. Adams named a first-team All-Pro in just his 3rd season in the league last season. Here's a look at the Seahawks safeties: Jamal Adams, Quandre Diggs, and then a couple guys who we'll likely see at nickel cornerback: Marquise Blair, Ugo Amadi, Lano Hill also adding depth at the safety position. And then at cornerback, Shaquill Griffin, Trey Flowers, Quentin Dunbar, the special teams captain the last 2 years, Nico Thorpe, and Lyndon Stevens, who's one of the biggest surprises to make the final roster. Earlier in camp, we had Shaq Griffin mic'd up.
Shaquill Griffin here, I'm mic'd up, and my only job is to get their deepest, darkest secrets. That's my whole job today. It's out today. What? I can't believe you did that. What else happened? What else did you do? Ain't nobody gonna talk to me, bro. I'm gonna stand by the water by myself. Hey, they got me mic'd up. So if you wanna tell me all your deepest, darkest secrets, you can. You wanna tell me? None of my friends wanna hang with me. Yeah, I'm calling right now. First pick of the day. You sure? Yes, sir. First pick of the day, I called it. Let me know if they need a break. I'll catch them too. Mother! Oh. Hey, Dre! Hey, give him my shot. I need to be back now. Let's go. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. He's trying to give me the chill out, man. I probably need a double kick on the ones where I feel like I'm out of it a little bit, or I'll be kind of like, I'd rather be on the receiver. Yeah, I'd rather be on the receiver. We probably gonna have an end outside here, huh? I got him. Hey! Oh! Have a play, G. Yeah, nigga! It's like a push replace. When you push out, someone's supposed to be replacing you, and I got everything over the top. Yeah. The corner's got every double move. Anything that's high out there. Anything high. Only thing you can do is grab him back, but if you grab him back, he starts slinging you, grab both your elbows, it's a wrap. So if you one of the ones where he gonna charge you, take your step, or you take a step back, you feel me? Like you almost like you reset. I know one thing he had to work for, coach. He had to work for that one. He had to work for that one. It's a good catch. He had to work for it. He had to work for it. Let the coverage play. Look who at number 2. Look who at number 2. Alert motion. Alert motion. Alert motion. Bush light. Bush light. It's coming right to you. Coming right to you. I got you outside, brother. Yeah. The blaster. Push him out. 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 That's a pig. It's a pig. Oh, he stood up. Yeah. All right, man. All right. So he did this. All right, so this is the line. So he did this. And did he? Oh, no. You know what you should have did? When I went down? But I just came up. You know what you should have did? Do the same thing. Do the same thing when he came up. As soon as he come up, if you can't touch him from here, as soon as he hesitated, you should have did this. So as soon as you start to hesitate, and then did your if you step back while he doing this, he gotta release. As soon as he leans to you, if he gonna give it to you, grab it. That's the one I got paid with. When he lean me, I just get one tug. You faster than him. So you use a little bit. Let's stick. Let's stick routes. Drop. Ooh, I don't know why you did that. I don't know why you did that. When it drops, you can go ahead and play that heavy.
So I'm not playing that wheel?
Nah, I take it. Let me do it. Let me cover him, and you can play the little flat route like you did. That was good, just like that. That's a catch tackle. Chill out, Ryan, it's over with. Tell me your deepest, darkest secret. Right here. Hey, get this dude. It's right here. Tell it to me. Keep that same mentality. It starts with us. DB's on 3. 1, 2, 3. DBs. Yeah, nobody wanted to be my friend and talk to me, but other than that, it was a good day.
Dave, you mentioned the expectations before, but talent-wise, what are you expecting out of the secondary?
Well, I just think that you're going to see a lot of those guys on the field, and they got talented by acquiring Quentin Dunbar and then Jamal Adams, of course, but then the development of Marquise Blair and just the continued sort of competition and the level of play being raised by Shaquill Griffin and Trey Flowers. And the thing that you see in that mic'd up there is the communication, and it's so important. And that was something that Quandre Diggs provided for them last year when he came to the Seahawks and really got it going at the Monday Night Football game down in San Francisco. But that's how important that is. And you see these guys out there talking. It really does remind me of the players that you saw on the field in 2013. And during that time, those guys would actually dominate the 7-on-7 period with Russell Wilson. And you usually don't see that. Well, you're starting to see that again with this team. Now, Russell he strikes back a couple times. He's like, yeah, he's dropping some dimes out there. No question about that. But these guys are just so much more energized. And a lot of it's Jamal Adams. It's a lot of it those guys developing and just getting to be seasoned veterans.
You mentioned that we might see a lot more of them this year. How much more nickel and dime might we see this season, maybe compared to last year?
Well, I think it's reasonable to expect more. And the reason why I think they went with so much base last year, which is 4 D linemen and 3 linebackers, is because, and only 4 defensive backs, is because, their best players really were linebackers last year. They didn't really have a solid nickel player. And now they're so crowded there at that position. And, you saw Leno Hill's name on that list as well. So, I mean, you might see a lot of different kind of packages that might look totally different. The whole thing will be, Pete Carroll's basic philosophy of defense. It's just that, he's always about getting the best players out on the field, and I think that's what you're going to see. A lot more defensive back type of sets, but we'll see. And nobody knows around the league, and that's why I say maybe the preseason not being part of it is going to be a good thing for the Seahawks. They're going to surprise some people.
Pete Carroll said they gave up too many explosive plays on defense last season. Hopefully this group will be one that does not give up as many this year. Up next, we're going to wrap things up and take a look ahead to next week. The regular season opener in Atlanta. It's just around the corner. That's coming up next.
Cincinnati with 4 down linemen. They're going to blitz. Russell steps up, throws deep. Metcalf near side. He's got the catch down inside the 15-yard line. He just out-muscled William Jackson, the quarterback.
And that was the start of an enormous rookie season for DK Metcalf as we're back here on Seahawks Saturday night. So over the past month, what have we learned about this team, Dave?
Well, I think during the offseason as well, you see how quickly Pete Carroll and John Schneider can turn a team around. A group that didn't really look that good, defensive backs last year, all of a sudden looks so crowded. And then the other thing is you're starting to see some of the draft choices from the last couple years start to really develop. And I'll point once again to Marquise Blair and his development. Cody Barton is going to have a hard time probably getting on the field, but he has played really well. And then the other thing is how valuable veteran leadership is. And you bring a guy in like Jamal Adams going into his 4th year, but a guy like Bobby Wagner and KJ Wright and of course Russell Wilson, we mentioned a little bit with Olson, that leadership really goes a long way, and especially in the environment that we're in. In this landscape, it's really important to have the young guys helped out by the older guys, and you've got some great guys. Dwayne Brown, I mean, again, I could go through the whole list. It's a great group of guys, but you learn in this situation how difficult it is for the younger guys and how valuable those older guys are.
Quickly, no preseason games, no fans in the stands. How will it affect opening week?
I think good teams, good defenses, offenses, they are motivated from within. And so, it's not necessarily necessarily the crowd or anything like that. I always like playing on the road. I kind of like being booed. That sometimes got me fired up. So, you know, I think that this is going to come from within these guys. These guys are all great leaders, and I don't think you're going to see it affect them at all.
Seahawks 7-1 on the road last season. Hard to believe it. It all starts 1 week from tomorrow. And if that's not soon enough for you, we'll have a primer for you tomorrow night when we air a replay of Super Bowl 48. The Seahawks dominating the Denver Broncos to win the Lombardi Trophy. That's 7 o'clock Sunday night right here on your official Seahawks station. For Dave Wyman, I'm Aaron Levine. We'll have much more Seahawks coverage on Q It Up Sports tomorrow night, 9:30 on Joe TV, 10:30 on Q13 Fox. We'll see you then. Have a great night, everyone.